Welcome back. We were doing it. We were trying to do it the week prior to the draft, and that was probably a month ago now. But welcome to the first edition of Alex Cora Center for kids who can't read, hit good, and want to learn how to do other things better. 2025. Adam and Mike, thanks for joining us. Me,
Hey,
try and get the A in here. They have 5 wins now,
let's go.
5 out of 18. That's what they always say. Um, so we were talking a little bit before the podcast, not much organization. Mike's got some good stuff. Adam has a thing that I butchered, but I did circle. Like John Stewart. I just scribble. Um, but yeah, why don't we just start off with some of the things that are happening in the league first, not our league, the actual Major League Baseball hot topics. Um, let's just start with torpedo bats. It happened, and I don't hear about them anymore. The
Yeah,
Braves, I get I won't, I swear I won't talk about the Braves all the time, but I know they're waiting for a shipment because Matt Olson's going to try it, but it still hasn't come yet. But the Yankees had it in the second weekend of, the season. So, and the only reason I remember that is because Jazz Chisholm, who I talk shit on with keeping, had like 5 home runs and 13 RBIs in that series against me. But we haven't heard much about him lately. So, what's your take on the torpedo bats? Are they a thing? Will they last?
I think it was a just kind of like a perfect storm. It was the Yankees. They scored 20, I think, that day, and I believe they tied the record for home runs in a game. They had nine, so that blew it a little bit out of proportion, I think. But I'd imagine for the Braves, the bats are probably on back order right now. I would think a lot of people are ordering them.
Do they stretch beyond Major League Baseball? Do you think like
I mean, if
college?
it's a legal bat, it's a legal bat, I guess.
Well, I guess college uses metal. No one else uses wood or beer league baseball. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
you might start some fights showing up to a beer league with that.
yeah. Does it
We
come
could
off
ask Justin
that
Wilkins if
faster?
they get into wiffle ball.
Shout out to Justin Wilkins. Um, who might join the league if we ever lose somebody. He's like first on the list.
Oh,
He wants
nice.
he wants
Well,
to get in.
15 has a good ring to it too. So
Also, my neighbor who might hear us, he wants in. Shout out to Phil. All right, so torpedo bats. I don't know if it's still a thing. I don't.
I'm sure there's still some guys that use it, but originally I heard they just created it essentially because Volpe couldn't hit the sweet spot of the bat. So they moved the sweet spot.
And
So
Stanton was
that
using it.
I think a few of them were using it. Judge said he wasn't using it. Um, but apparently, there's been some guys that have used it already. I know the day after or 2 days after the Yankees, Ellie De La Cruz used it for the first time and hit two home runs that game. So that definitely added to it. But he hasn't. He tapered off after that. So
Yes. How do you say his first name?
Ellie,
Ellie.
yeah,
He's the he's the real deal.
yeah. I was actually out with Lute, who I was playing last week when we were watching, and he hit a grand slam on his bobblehead night. So that was fun.
Was that who? Do you have him this year?
Yep, I
Okay.
kept him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Smart. Um, part of our maybe we can get onto this podcast, but part of what we were going to talk about before the draft was like talk about keepers and things like that. Are
hmm
you happy you kept him right now?
I'm happy with my keepers. Yeah. Duran's got a little bit of a slow start, but Fernando Tatis looks like an MVP candidate, and Ellie De La Cruz has been right there behind him. So I feel like I got three top 40 players, and that's what I would want out of three keepers. So,
Yeah. Tatis is scary. They walked him last night and actually worked because then they had Arias got
well,
out.
and that I lucked out getting Arias because they hit right next to each other in the order too. So that's
Mhm.
been pretty fun.
Well, the Padres in general. There.
Yes.
That's a hey,
Uh,
segue. Sorry, Adam. I wanted to talk about your keepers, but that's a good segue to are they the best team? The Padres are the top team right now, right? They're the best record.
hmm
And Not to say no one saw that coming. We thought the Dodgers would do it,
Yeah,
which they are. They're in second. No, they're not even. They're in third because the
they're in third
Giants.
now. Yep.
Just good. It's almost like baseball fans are like good. It's not like
Yeah.
the Dodgers are just going to run away with it unless they play the Braves every series because that happened. It won't always come back to the Braves. Adam, tell us about your keepers. How you feeling?
Pretty good. Ketel Marte's already hurt, but that's pretty minor. And then Zach Wheeler is known to be reliable. He's just not been missing a whole lot of bats, but I feel okay. What's best is that Jordan's not hurting me yet, even though I'm playing him this week. Um,
Spoke too soon.
yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I think I overthink the keeper thing.
Yeah.
I wish I would just raw dog it like I've done life.
Is that a segue?
But uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy. Ketel Marte got the extension, so that was like corroboration enough.
Yeah, he signed. That's right. He got that early this year, right?
It was like a Braves type of deal too. Back to the
That's another one.
Braves.
So, okay. Mike was talking about that. Somebody else just signed
Yeah, Christian Campbell for the
for
Red
the Red
Sox
Sox
just signed a 6-year deal already.
For like 80 something. It
Yep.
was yeah, it was like an Acuna deal.
Yeah, that's why I said Albies.
Albies, yeah.
It's a Braves hometown, yeah, sweetheart deal.
with did another one. Michael Harris did something similar with it,
Yeah,
and they all
no.
can't hit.
It's all working out.
Hey, you also could have a guy sign for almost 800 million and still not be the best hitter in your lineup. So,
What was that comment about like was he like
I
miss
don't
the
know. Well,
Yankees?
I don't know what he's like. Obviously, Pete Alonso is not Aaron Judge. You don't have to say that in a. He said he doesn't like. I think he got used to being pitched a certain way last year because nobody wanted to pitch to Judge. So
Yeah, well you make the most money in the league, so you
yeah,
should expect that. Also,
and then he
Pete
went 0
Alonso
for
just hit
5
Bono.
today. So he went 0 for 5 in 10 innings and struck out 3 times today. So maybe he should stop talking a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he chose it too. He
Yeah,
could have went back to the Yankees and had Judge's protection.
yeah, they didn't get rid of him.
Yeah,
Right.
which is again, I mean he took the money. He's going to be fine. Alonso
Oh
is
yeah,
someone you want to bat in front of,
Alonso's going to have a great season with those two hitting in front of him.
and I think he has an opt out this year,
Yeah.
so he's in a contract year
Yep. He's
technically.
on a 1 year. Yep. 1 year
Yeah.
deal.
Um, So it's good for Alonso. I think he was on. I think Testa got him, but he was like next on my list. If I could have had, I would have picked Alonso
Yeah.
this year
Same.
because he was. I just knew he was pissed about his offseason, the way that went.
Yeah. And he's in a weird spot, like in a draft like ours, too, where, and we talked about this a little bit about first base being kind of all of it just felt thin this year. Um, but that might just be because a lot of guys are DHing now instead of playing first base, too. So,
Yeah, I lucked out and picked up Torkelson late. Well, actually, just after the draft.
yeah, that's a
I,
good, he's got the pedigree, too.
I haven't even, like I have Spencer Steer who's not doing shit. So thank God I
Mm,
picked up a first baseman. Um, I was watching a game today, the Mets actually against the Twins,
yep.
and Harrison Bader, everyone's favorite Harrison, was stealing second. He stole it. He's on the Twins now, by the way. He was a Met, but he stole second. He's actually having a good start to the season. But when he stole second, he slid. He was safe, but then his foot came off the base because he slid too hard. And Liriano kept the. Is that right? Not Liriano. Lindor.
Lindor.
Lindor kept the tag on him, and he was out. They reviewed it, and he was out. And Christina, we were watching it, and Harrison, the second favorite Harrison, my son, was watching, and she was like, "What? Why is he out?" And I was like, 10 years ago he wouldn't have been out. The umpire
Yeah.
throw beat him. I'm sorry, he beat the throw safe. They wouldn't even look technically. It's such a small detail, but they had the
Yeah.
camera on there. And what I wanted to talk about, I wrote it down. Christina's like, "Are you taking notes on this game?" I was like, "Yes, it's normal." But I wanted to talk about, do you like that part of the replay system? Because he's safe, but give credit to Lindor keeping the tag on.
Yeah.
However, it just sucks though because he's beat it. I mean, it's a steal. and would have been 10 years ago. But it's like, what's the catch in football? You're watching every little detail and you want to get it completely right. And in baseball, they got it right technically, but it ruined the inning for the Twins. I mean, there was an out at second. Next guy struck out. They go to extra innings. So I'm just kind of like, that sucks because he had the base stolen.
Yeah, I think if it's a call though that they can make in real time and they don't, it should be reversed, you know?
So you'd think like
Like
keep it
if
safe.
it's clear, yeah, I mean if it's a clear, yeah. But it's gonna get to a point. I saw I think it was somebody on the Phillies because they did the challenging balls and strikes in the spring training. I saw them get a bad call and they went like this to the dugout to
Yeah,
challenge it, and the
boom,
umpire was like, "Cut that
out,
shit."
boom.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't do that shit." Yeah, so
There was
that's going to be the new like, "Are you blind?" It's just going to be,
the
yeah,
silent.
Hmm.
yeah.
Actually, the Cardinals in a game got warned before the game by umpires, don't do it or you get thrown out because
Oh
I guess they had done
Jesus.
it the night
Well, the
before.
umpire. That's the thing is umpires are going to be exposed
Yeah, they
because
are.
it's just the hitters have such a better eye. It's just a reality, you know. Like,
They
and
do.
there's some
Yeah.
some guys that are really good at it too, like the challenges. Like
Yeah. Well,
I
Soto.
saw one the guy challenged it and he just started walking to first base before they even showed it because he knew for a fact it was not a strike.
Yeah, that's where the umpires' feelings get hurt. And
And that's
then
the thing is they're gonna feel yeah, like that's showing them up, but they can't. What can you do? You know?
what do they do? I just don't know how they do it. I love the challenge system. I think it has to come back. It did well spring
Yeah.
training. It seems to be working in
I
my,
think it's an inevitability for baseball. Yeah.
but they got to keep the umpire out there. They can't just go straight robot because you need like
Yeah.
safe out calls at home or I don't know. I just feel like you can't get rid of him totally.
It can't be yeah, they can't get rid of it totally because people need somebody to bitch about too, you know? Like what
Yeah,
who can they blame if the umpires aren't there?
it's true. We've already removed the Bobby Cox factor of
And like
arguing
God
calls.
forbid it just stop like the technology, you know, oh, we don't have it tonight, so tonight we'll bring umpires in. Like a replay if the replay system isn't working, we're just gonna do something different.
Yeah. And the umpire's like, no, I don't want to. We're on strike.
Plus I don't know well, I guess they have it, but I was gonna say, do Sacramento and where the Rays are playing even have can they even do it?
Probably not Sacramento.
Like the
Well,
technology. Yeah, I think where the Rays are playing, that's Steinbrenner Field. So that's they did spring training there. The Yankees spring training, obviously, but
yeah. I love that you called them Sacramento because a Major League Baseball will not. They just call them the A's. All their uniforms are just A's.
they're playing well,
Yeah.
I like the Athletics.
better than they did in Oakland.
I thought you were gonna say better than the Braves, which the
Nah.
the Mets are in first,
Yep.
Phillies in second,
Game back. Yep. Well, they're tied probably right now.
and the Phillies are going through a dry spell. Like runners in scoring position, they were like 3 for 30 or something. So everyone hopefully, I know that's not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Um, any other notes on like how the season's going? We want to move to our fantasy league before we get into other stuff?
There was this one I saw an interesting. I was watching an interview with Vinny Pasquantino today, the first baseman for the Royals,
Yeah.
and they were asking him about his bat speed because it's gone up a lot this year, and they wanted to talk to him about how like good it is, and he was basically like, I don't even know if this is a good thing for me because he's like, I'm striking out more,
Really?
I'm chasing more because he's like, I'm trying to speed my bat up. Maybe I do need to actually slow it down. So I think the analytics for some guys maybe don't benefit them quite as much,
That's interesting.
but it might
And
get to a
confirm
point
he
too that
changed all that.
if he hits 40 home runs, they're not going to care, you know.
Yeah. What'd you say, Adam?
I can confirm he strikes out a lot, and he only has 2 home runs on the year.
How do you know that?
He's a great pickup this year. Glad I drafted him.
I
First
promise
baseman.
I didn't know who had him when I started that story.
He found out you were going to be on the pod and wrote it down.
I thought the Royals are going to be similar to the Athletics, and the Royals were fun to watch. They're fun to watch every year, but
Yeah,
they were good last year, so I assumed that their offense would be good again. But
I think Detroit might be the fun team to watch in the American League this year.
They have a
Definitely.
lot of players that are just like
Yeah.
waiting to play. Like you almost have like Torkelson, who wasn't supposed to hit, like he wasn't supposed to play.
Well, he's a guy last year, they started the season, he was the everyday first baseman and they sent him down.
Yeah,
Like they drafted him to be the first baseman of the future for them. So, and
he's great.
Scooble's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You can hear my heat coming on. Sorry about that. I've been relegated to the outside area. Adam, any other hot topics?
No, I thought the Cubs are just as good as the Padres. I know they started like a week earlier with everybody in Asia with the Dodgers, but they've been also really fun to watch. So this series has been I've been tuning in every night. It's been fun.
That's true. I've actually, because you get the late night games, I've had the Cubs Padres on in the background. Those Cubs are good.
Oh yeah,
But they need to dig deep. Justin Steele's out for the year.
that's tough.
I
Yeah.
had him. So yes, it hurts. But they still have pitching. I think they have that guy Assad coming back from injury.
I
Mm.
think they'll make a trade. They could probably get Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
He's going to the Mets. Sorry,
In division.
we're getting them
I
all,
thought
buddy.
Braves over Mets.
We're taking them all.
Braves can
Well, they're
win.
recruiting him hard, aren't they? Like
Yeah,
Lindor and
Lindor. Yeah, they're all like Lindor's. Like it would be like we got another Soto.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that. Although the Mets probably could use a good pitcher
Yeah,
get through the
They have
season.
Sean
yeah.
Manaea.
Clay Holmes and Griffin Canning ain't it. Sorry.
Well, Canning just got scratched,
Hurt.
right?
Yeah, he was supposed to start today, so I dropped him.
Take that. Um, all right, let's talk. I'm gonna pull up our standings in fantasy. And Mike, you have a good
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'll just go over. I wanted to call out some pickups, some savvy pickups this week. Um, Mostly pitchers, but one hitter that I think everybody knows who that was. But we have Otani's fall guy had Brendan Little had a save for the Blue Jays. These were all guys picked up last week. Some of them dropped immediately after, but still had good performances.
so you say that
Bichette,
you say the team name and I'll say the guy's name so he feels good about himself. So Patrick,
okay.
that's
Bichette had my money.
Adam,
That's Jeremiah Estrada from San Diego had a save. We got Kevin's top-notch team.
Kevin,
Got it. That he had AJ Puck, who actually had two save holds last week for the Diamondbacks, so that was a good pickup.
Puke. Is it Puke or Puck?
I say Puck, but
I said
I don't.
puke. I
Yeah, I've never. Maybe I should call him that because I had him on my team once upon a time as well. So the come on, do somethings.
Paul.
He picked up Jamison Tyone, who had a quality start for the Cubs. One of the most picked up and drop pitchers, I think, in our league.
He's Paul has actually done well with him over the years as a notorious pick up and drop pitcher guy.
He was another guy I believe was a number one overall or a top two or three overall pick, Tyone. So that was with the
Oh,
Pirates. Yeah.
okay. You're talking about actual real life. He was,
Yeah, but
yeah,
he's been good. He's somebody that I think he just hasn't figured it out totally yet.
yeah.
Uh, can I put it India?
Chad,
He had Jose Soriano for the Angels with a quality start and a win. And then the last pitcher on the list, swelling back that thing up with
Testa
Hayden Wesniewski, 10 Ks quality start.
against me on Sunday. It got him some points back.
And then
Um,
obviously the pickup of the week, I think everybody knew last week. It was the talk of the chat was 2007 Mets with Kyron Paris.
Brian,
Yep.
I just have to
He
confirm.
had three home runs and a steal last week. So
Yeah, say those stats again. 1 week he had what?
yeah, 3 home runs, 5 runs, 4 RBIs, and a steal.
on the
And
year, my
and
team has three home
yeah,
runs.
and nobody, I don't think, myself included, had heard of him before last week. So,
Yeah. And then Kyle brought him up.
yep.
I guess it
You
was
mean
against
Lyle?
Kyle. Lyle. Lyle Ravinsky. You know, let's talk standings here. Adam, we'll talk about you first. Love the team name. Not, it's a second to last year's team name. Can you say what your team name was last year, please?
Ain't no Schwallen back girl.
I can't watch a Braves game that he's pitching and not say it. I ain't no swelling back girl. I can't, and now Christina can't. I've said it so many times. Christina loves this guy. Now, Testa took a good one too, swelling back that thing up. I mean, who knew that name would do something that,
Who knew that guy?
yeah, no one.
Not me.
So good for you, Adam, in first place. Good week last week.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, Keith.
Oh, so you beat Keith. Now Keith's crushing me this week, so we'll get to that. But
Keith was in first, and then I got to play a mind game that everyone liked to play with me in years past, and just find the categories that are close and make acquisitions there. And so
Attack.
that's, yeah, that's when I I took Estrada, and he had a save or a hold prior to, I think that's the one that Mike shouted out, but
Yep.
that ended up making it more of a bloodbath. So that was fun. I drafted to avoid strikeouts in the past week and a half. My team has been striking out at a rapid rate, so I'm a little nervous because, like I said, my team only has 3 home runs. Um, but to my team name, I just want to go back to the pop girl references. Last year was Gwen Stefani. This year is Rihanna. This should have my honey.
yes, which is a play on Workaholics as well, which I love. Um, I wonder what next year's name will be, Adam. Now you have a thing.
Can only draft players for that.
Yeah, yeah. And Marcelo Zuna. No matter what, you have to draft him.
He's my keeper.
Oh yeah, you kept him. Never mind. Brian, second place. What's 2007 Mets? Did they have a good year
Oh,
that
that would be the year they collapsed at the end and lost the uh, last day of the year. Tom Glavine started and gave up, I think, 7 runs in the first 2 innings. Yeah.
the traitor, Tom Glavine?
He Brett Favre
Yes, that
did.
was our, I believe we had a 9 game lead with 17 games left or something like that
Oh no.
and
Was
blew
that the
that.
same year the Red Sox cleared house?
Did they
Because they
win
were
that?
eating
No,
like
they
fried
won in
chicken
08.
and video games. Or that was later on.
I don't
That
know.
was later. Yeah.
I thought they collapsed the same year as the Mets.
That, do
Well,
we
you
go to
know,
a game?
it's tough when you do it a lot of years. It's easy for to mix them up, you know. I get it.
So Brian can just name his team different year Mets every year.
Hey, he can do whatever he wants, man.
So Brian's, so didn't we go to that one of the games, Mike? In that, like at Phillies, like we saw the Phillies and Mets play a lot. So I wonder if we
Yeah.
were at a game where that happened. I know.
I was lucky. I've never been to a Mets game, knock on wood, that they've lost. So
So maybe it was the year the Phillies blew it and the Mets kind of, anyway. Paul's in third. What a surprise. He's near the top. Loot, fourth, never changing, vegetarian cheesesteaks. Five and two thirds. And what? I, and a
a
dream.
dream.
I had a guy go five and two thirds. Adam, you sent me a text too. Thanks for going five and two thirds. I'm like, why? Sometimes they like five and two thirds, 80 pitches, and like one earned run. You're like, fucking leave him in for,
Yeah, and then the next guy in gives up 3 runs like
and they're
immediately.
charged to that fucker.
Yeah.
So Keith fell to sixth after Adam's beatdown, although good segue to me in seventh playing Keith. Monday, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take down Keith. This is good. I'm moving up the standings. Tanner Huck, two and a third, 11 earned runs. Good start to the week.
Not great.
I didn't drop him, so championship mindset. Let's see
Hey,
what he
but the
can do
locker
after
room,
that.
the locker room might need to see that. Your locker room might need to see, hey, Skip believes in us, you know?
Yeah, despite giving up 11 earned runs in 2 innings, we still believe in you.
Who was that against? The team that he was pitching against.
The Rays,
Okay.
which
So if the Rays were home, if any pitcher starting against the Rays at home in this first couple months, I wouldn't put any stock into it because the ball seems to be flying there right now. So
I saw actually, and I hate that. I'm sorry, I said it wouldn't happen, but it keeps happening. But on the Braves broadcast, they talked about the Rays' schedule is front loaded with home games
Yeah, it's just too hot all summer for them to be playing down here. So
in the rain.
outside. Yeah.
So they'll be away a lot in
Yep.
July and August. So just a lot of Rays home games. And I'm trying to get Lute to go to them. Like, go. This is probably a fun experience in a minor league park
Yeah.
or a spring training park.
I know we almost got lucky and they moved they we were hoping they would go to Ed Smith where the Orioles play. That's,
That's
five,
closer.
ten
Yeah.
minutes for loot. Like that would have been great, but
Orioles
nah.
said, no, you can't change our shit on our stadium.
And they would have been a perfect one because they don't have a spring minor league team.
Hmm.
Like they run events there during the off season. So
Yeah. Or the Pirates. I know the Pirates are close to you too.
yep.
Um, Chad in eighth. Kyle, I like big bets. Love that. I love that. He shouldn't change that until he has to drop Mookie.
Yeah.
Testa, swelling back that thing up. RIP Oakland, Chris Cade. He is an Oakland fan, so I remember he always drafted like Matt Olson and Matt Chapman when they were on the A's.
He's got the inside. He's Luke and I were talking about that the if you're ever we were watching a game and saw a guy and we're like and it was a West Coast game, we're like, oh man, I wonder if anybody has him. And lo
Chris
and
had him.
behold, Chris had him. Yeah.
He's a sleeper. He actually did well last year. I always feel bad. He was Scott's friend, and then Scott
We
lost.
all were Scott's friend.
We all used to be Scott's friends. Yeah. And he's I haven't talked to him much, but Chris moved to Seattle. So if we're ever looking for where Chris is at, he's still West Coast Chris, but he moved from San Diego up there. Patrick with Otani has fallen to 12th, so he's got to have to pick this shit up. Maybe he's Otani's fall guy now.
He might be.
And then Tom, I feel bad for Tom actually. I know he doesn't want to hear that, but Schwarber metrics and Schwarber's having quite the start.
Yeah.
I fucking
He
hate Kyle
he
Schwarber.
had an order in for a torpedo bat. I think there was four Phillies that I heard had an order in for one.
Can
So
we please not give Kyle Schwarber a torpedo
yeah,
bat?
that's why I said if there's anybody that doesn't need it, it's him.
He's a scary at bat. Like I used to watch players, and Bryce Harper is also one where you're like, this isn't gonna end well for the pitch. Like you go down 2-0 or you 3-1, you're just like, God, this is not gonna go well. And I mean, Bryce just follows through usually on that.
Yeah,
And then Kevin, who won last year with Aaron Judge. This is kind of interesting. I haven't really looked at the standings. So he has Judge and he's in last. So we'll see here. He kept all three, I think, right? Kevin, I'm going to click his team. Who did he keep? I love that now. The new feature, it shows who the champion was. It has a little crown on the. I don't know if you've ever looked at Kevin's team. It has a crown.
oh nice.
But he kept Lindor and he has Sean Murphy, who's actually off to a good start.
He's
Judge,
been great.
did he keep someone else? He's got puke. Oh, Alcantara,
Yeah.
maybe he.
No, he drafted him pretty late. I
Yeah,
think
that was a big moment in the draft.
he
Okay.
I
kept
think
Lindor.
everybody's like fuck when he took him.
Oh, Churio. He's got Churio. So he kept all three. But he's in last. We got the big guns are except for Paul. Paul always seems to do something. All
Well,
right.
Paul likes to use his IL for 60-day pitchers, and then in July we're like, oh my god, how does Paul have six Cy Young candidates on his team?
He's living in 3025.
Yeah, he's playing 5D chess. Yeah,
He does have Acuna waiting too, so that's fun. I watched the Mets game and I see they have an Acuna
yeah, he's good. I like him.
and I just,
He's
I'm like that we have 10 minutes I think on this call. You get that tear like that Native American watching. I'm
Yes,
like,
I
he
call
looks like
him.
Ronald. It's
I
Ronald.
think it's Louis Angel. I call him
Yeah.
Little Angel or Little Angel Acuna.
he's got the same stance. He looks scary.
Yeah. Luis Angel and Ronald. They couldn't come up with anything better than Ronald.
Yeah.
Adam, let's do your thing. What you got? Adam's song.
All right, I've got a Where'd That Guy Go segment. And so I picked a guy who's started off the season hot for each of our teams, and you have to place where they went to school. I think it'll be
Oh,
difficult enough if I
I'm going to
just
be awful at this.
I think I have to mention the schools or at least the conferences.
Conference. New Egypt High School.
But the conference otherwise, anyway, we'll start with Dave's team because this name has come up the most on the podcast. And before we start, I would just like to shout out Tom's Alec Boehm joke. Speaking of a great at bat and what he wrote in the chat with like that nuclear reaction to GIF, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, we'll start with Dave's team. Spencer Torkelson has been brought up probably 6 times, just second to the Braves on this podcast. And I would like to ask you guys where he went.
Conference,
Yes, if you want that already.
please.
Yeah, let's do that.
We're on a time crunch.
Um, Big 12.
Kansas.
I'll say, is TCU in the Big 12?
It used to be. This is
I don't even
harder
know
I
the
for us.
think they
conference.
are now. So here,
Yeah.
I will give you both another guess because those are incorrect. They
Okay.
were a former Pac-12 team until the newest merger in 2024.
Is it the California team?
It's a West Coast team, but no longer in the Pac-12.
Okay.
Washington.
I'll go Oregon State.
Arizona State,
Damn
Sun
it.
Devils.
I didn't know they left. Okay. So he's a Sun Devil.
Yeah, Spencer Torkelson,
Say it again. We need
that
to get those
Sun Devil here.
reps.
All right, this guy, great pickup, has been. It's early, but I think finally filling his shoes as a prospect. Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, I know this one.
I don't know this one, so you can go ahead and I'm never gonna guess any of it. I don't know
Doesn't even need the
college.
conference.
Okay, let me get a conference.
He didn't go to college.
Also correct. Did you know where he committed to?
ECU.
Ding, 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 ding,
I
ding.
Wow.
I wrote his
Nice.
national letter of intent. I was there when that happened,
That's pretty cool. I didn't know
That
that.
is cool.
and he accepted. But then he got drafted, I think, fourth overall that draft by the Padres.
Also correct. Wow. Mackenzie Gore fan.
Big
Goring
fan.
yourself
Thought he was
out.
coming to ECU. That's why we were like so pumped up, and then he just didn't show. Which he took the money, and he hasn't panned out. But now he's doing it. He had
You
13
know,
saves.
he's pitched well so far this year, yeah.
He's also only like 26. I feel like
Yeah.
he's still very
Yeah,
young.
Kyle sent me a trade request for Gore.
For Alec Boehm
Who
that
did
you
he
just
want
picked
us?
up.
No, somebody he just
Oh,
dropped. Oh, Kyle Manzardo.
a
He's a
DH for the
DH. Yeah,
Indians. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, almost, Kyle.
All right, we got 6 minutes.
All right.
All right. From my team, do you want a pitcher or batter?
Batter.
Yeah.
Um, Brendan Donovan, filling in for Ketel Marte on the Cardinals. Not Ketel
Oh,
Marte doesn't play for the Cardinals,
I
but
was gonna say. Oh, I was saying, whoa, Donovan got traded. Okay. What conference?
um, also, well, that should be the Big Ten. Let me double check the
Michigan.
Ohio State.
Big Ten. Neither of those.
Mm,
Minnesota.
Correct.
Really?
Oh wait, that's
nice.
Max. That's Max Meyer. I looked up the wrong college. Sorry, Brendan Donovan. My bad. You said that or not?
Iowa.
Is it
It's
still
not a
Big
big.
Ten?
No,
No,
not a Big Ten.
I I fudged this one
That's all right. We know Max Meyer went to Minnesota. A lot of M's.
for the next segment. The Sun Belt Conference.
Oh,
Good luck. Name one team from the Sun Belt Conference,
I was
and
gonna say
I'll tell you.
Boise. I don't think Boise.
Sun Belt Conference. 'Cause, 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 'c I got nothing.
I couldn't even tell. Ohio University.
Yeah, Miami, University of Ohio.
Yeah. What is
South Alabama.
it? Okay. Well, good. Good for him. He made it.
He did make it
You
with
want to
that
do one more?
haircut.
You got any more?
That's all I got. One from
Okay.
each team. I did two for me
Oh,
because it's me.
because it's but what about Spencer Torkelson? All right. We're running out of time. Let's do something new about you, not baseball related. Who wants to start?
I'll go first. That way, Adam can. I'll clear out. I'll let Adam ISO after this. Uh, for me, new with me. Going to be leaving Florida, going back up to Jersey.
Back.
So back to the old hometown
Stomping
area.
ground. Todd
Yeah,
Frazier. Todd Frazier land.
that's right.
Um, that's cool. Adam's up in Jersey. I'm trying to think who else is up in Jersey because a lot of our crew is split.
Yeah, yeah, we're all over.
Tom's in Pennsylvania, so closer. That's good.
Yep.
I'll also go with mine because it's not as important as Adam's, assuming Adam goes with the one we're talking about. But I am training for a 10K for the first time in my life. I'm not running the race. I just decided to do it. It's hard. I get bored running. I've only gotten up to 5 miles, and Adam sends me his mile times, and I'm like, I'm never gonna do that. And
Yeah.
but I wanted to say, you know that Office episode where Andy's talking about his nipples chafing?
Hmm.
It's a real thing. I feel it. Do I put like Aquaphor? Do I put Vaseline on them? How do I get rid of that? Anybody know?
You
I
could
have
just
like a
put like
body stick.
band-aids over him or something.
And then just blood, like with Andy when he's running and he's holding out the.
That's what I thought your story was going, and you were just going to be like, "They're gone."
I had three, now zero.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, hit us.
Congrats, Mike. I'm moving back to Jersey. I just like to sum it up best as what Jay Corby just said. I'm leaving New Jersey. I'm going to go to Connecticut. And Jay Corby said, anytime you leave New Jersey, it's a good thing. But for some reason, it always drags you back. So good
It's
luck.
true. It's true.
Yeah, there
Uh,
was another quote. Something get your hooks in you, right?
yeah, I guess to not beat around the bush, I'm training for an 11 mile, 11K marathon. Um, just to behave. Um, and I also had
10.1.
a child, so if anyone didn't know that, probably Kyle Turner forgot. Um,
Lyle.
Lyle Turner.
Congrats, dude.
Yeah, thanks. 4 months on Sunday, so that was quite quite the I guess confirmation of we're doing something right.
It's alive still.
It is alive still.
That's right. You're doing something right. Testa also has a newborn around that time too. But anyway, we have a minute to go. This has been fun. You want to hit us with a podcast or a song or I'm sorry, a band you're listening to or something or book you're reading real quick?
Yeah. Last of Us season 2 is back. Just started on Sunday. I recommended it last time we did the pod, and I'll recommend it again this year. So, Last of Us season 2, HBO.
We're on Mrs. Maisel and we love it.
Great show.
Although Prime Video now charges you more to get rid of commercials, so I'm really
Well,
pissed.
how do you think we send Katy Perry to space? It's not without ads.
Adam, quick, quick.
Tom knows this, but the other 12 of you guys should read Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry.
It's on my
900 pages.
Goodreads to do. But I heard it's
Nice.
long. Is it long?
940 pages, but it's worth it.
All right. Well, that does it for podcast number one. We'll be back next Wednesday, hopefully. All right. See you guys.
Later.
Thank you.
There.
Bye.